Because what feels like winding down at the end of a long day is actually a high-frequency barrage of environmental alarms. The body remains motionless on a sofa, yet the central nervous system is performing the high-speed work of scanning for threats, reacting to every sudden visual change as an immediate confrontation. Every single time the camera cuts, pans across a room, or zooms in on an actor's face, your brain registers more than a stylistic choice. It processes a sudden physical change in your immediate environment. Human biology has hardwired a very specific equation into our heads. Any abrupt shift in the visual field means a new entity has entered your space. This constant triggering of your reflexes is a deliberate attention architecture. Media creators engineer these sequences to exploit your survival instincts, keeping you locked to the screen by simulating environmental instability. The screen operates as a delivery device for survival triggers. It bypasses your rational mind to repeatedly fire your ancestral alert reflex without your consent. Ivan Pavlov identified this specific biological mechanism, naming it the orienting response. It is the automatic instinct to drop every other cognitive task and focus entirely on a new stimulus. For our early human ancestors, this reflex was a requirement for staying alive. On the open savanna, a sensory system that commanded your absolute attention the moment the environment shifted was the only thing preventing a surprise attack. A rustle in the tall grass or a flash of motion in your peripheral vision usually correlated to one thing: something was actively hunting you. Detecting this change triggers a precise physiological sequence. Your heart rate actually drops for 4 to 6 seconds. You freeze, turning all your sensory resources outward to decide if you need to run or fight. Modern television short-circuits this loop. It delivers the visual trigger, the fast cut to a new angle, without providing the actual predator to run from. Your nervous system has no way to distinguish between these pixels and physical reality. To the oldest parts of your mind, a rapid scene change is functionally the same as a predator leaping out of the brush. To repair its own circuitry and solve complex problems, the human brain requires periods of idle, unstructured wandering. This is why you can struggle with a problem for hours at a desk, only to have the perfect solution appear while you're taking a hot shower or walking the dog. Television aggressively prohibits that recovery state. By constantly shifting visual perspectives, it traps your mind in a high-arousal alert phase, forcing it to analyze incoming data instead of sorting through its own thoughts. This is an escalating arms race. Directors and editors use increasingly rapid visual transitions and loud sound cues to ensure your orienting response never has a chance to fully reset. Because you are locked in this continuous cycle of alert triggers, your neural networks are denied the mathematically necessary downtime they need to reset. A 2-hour movie starves your mind of the restorative silence it requires to function, replacing recovery with constant physiological stimulation. Neuroplasticity researchers quantified this toll, tracking the exact frequency of these manufactured triggers on our circuitry. This timeline reveals the scale of the assault. The orienting response is triggered exactly once per second. Over 60 minutes, the exhaustion compounds. Your body attempts a heart rate drop thousands of times, only to be interrupted by the next cut. The mental fog that follows a long viewing session is the physiological tax of this process. Your nervous system has spent hours cycling through thousands of interrupted sequences, leaving your neural energy physically depleted. The algorithms competing for your attention rely on this exact biological vulnerability to keep you planted in place, regardless of the exhaustion it causes. The next time you sit down to relax in front of a screen, recognize the exchange. You are submitting your nervous system to a high-frequency loop of environmental alarms that prevents the very recovery your brain requires.